And so boys, we did it. This giant port of Brazilian China is what you need to get the Macau My achievement. But that's not all. I mean, look at how awesome we are at the moment. We have Porto Brazilian Japan, Porto Brazilian China. We still control most of Europe, though we cannot really see which part because there is also Germany in it. But the best part is that it's only the 14th of August 1941. You have an entire run ahead of you, and you have the perfect setup right now to mess up either the Soviet Union or Germany. I would probably go for Germany, because they are fighting each other. You can invade the United States. I mean, you can literally do anything you want. Go for a full world conquest as Portugal. Well, this is the setup for it. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Here is the third and final, I promise, guide dedicated to Portugal. Other than the funny name, Macau My is considered to be one of the hardest achievements in Hearts of Iron 4, so I felt bad leaving it out of my guides. In today's video, we will use my optimized strategy to easily secure the achievement while leaving all majors, except for Japan obviously, completely out of it. If that sounds interesting, you're in the right place. Important disclaimer though, what I'm about to share with you today is a follow-up to my two dedicated guides. So we are starting right after capitulating the Allies. This is in my opinion the easiest and best way to approach the achievement. And since I find the non-aligned path to be slightly better for it, we will use my non-aligned Portugal guide. But you can follow the same exact strategy with the communist run. You can find both guides in the description of the video. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments and make sure to join our Discord to meet our amazing community. Other than that guys, as always, if you enjoy the content I make, please do not forget to support the channel by liking the video, commenting. Commenting is really important. We don't have that many comments usually under the videos. I know you enjoy them, so please don't forget to leave a comment, it really helps. That said, let's get started. As usual guys, you can find all research and focus priorities in the description, so they will not be covered in the edited version. And the dedicated spreadsheet covering all steps in detail is available to Tier 2 members in our shared folder. It is the same as the non-aligned Portugal guide, you can find it at the bottom. Speaking of which, here we are just after capitulating the UK and the Allies and making this very ugly France. Now, very important though, in this run I did puppet Paris, so we peacefully took Vichy France, and well, that's generally okay-ish. It's not ideal because we didn't take their navy, and we also didn't take that much of the Royal Navy in the peace conference because I was counting to get Vichy France. So it's okay, but hopefully in your run you will have a bit of a bigger navy at this point if you took Vichy France and the Royal Navy. And also, if you don't, what you can do is you can easily integrate and then annex France by just building in France and sending them convoys on a land-lease. We have quite a lot of convoys, so if we wanted to annex them, we could do that. Now, I think we will be able to take Japan without, because that's what the strategy is about, by the way. We're going to invade Japan from here first to take them out of the war in China, and then we will focus entirely on China without fighting any other major. By the way, in this run we join the Axis, and that's very convenient, so we don't have to worry about the tripartite pact when we attack Japan. We also already have a claim on Japan, which we got through this focus here. But if you're doing the communist run and you don't have a claim, well, this would be a good time to justify a war goal. And with that, I think we covered everything to say at the beginning of this run, so we can move on to preparing this invasion of Japan. We're going to use our offensive divisions. Let me also briefly show the templates and remind our tier 3 members. So we had Dr. Hoops taking the offensive template. This is an artillery heavy infantry template, which works particularly well with Portugal because we have the artillery advisor. The other templates we have been using are Gator Cut for Def, this very basic one. Mark had the cavalry, which we are now only using for garrisons, and this motorized we're actually not going to use. Now, we are going to change everything, so these 48 defensive divisions into offensive divisions. Now, we do have the resources to do that, and they will help in China. By the way, we also took the forces of France and the UK, so we have a huge army here, which is going to be helpful because the Chinese front is massive later on. So we are going to use these divisions to make it a bit easier to control the front. Now for the invasion of Japan, we can go with groups of 4 since we have the landing craft technology unlocked. And we're primarily going to use these 2 naval bases. And we're going to focus entirely on this region, so the only sea regions we need to cover with the Navy are these 2. There is only 1 harbor, which is Nagasaki, so that's the primary target. Something like this should be good. Now the tricky part for us, as I was mentioning, is we don't have the biggest navy, so we may take a little bit to get the naval supremacy. We will get it, but maybe not right away. Now we are already spying on China, and it would be very nice to make a collaboration government. At least 1 we will need, possibly 2. So let's get all of the upgrades to get a second spy and use it on China. Let's also pick night fighting, which can help a little bit with the navy. Yeah, this is also a bit unlucky, and it definitely doesn't help with war support. This is because we justified on Vichy France, but now Vichy France doesn't exist anymore, so I cannot declare war on them. Pretty dumb. Okay, actually our divisions are in position, so we can start preparing the navy. In terms of buildings, you're completely free, but decreasing the autonomy of the UK and France is very cool, So now what do we do here with our navy? The idea, I think, is we can set the submarines on convoy raiding in this area, and the rest of the fleet either on naval invasion support if we have a chance to get naval supremacy right away, which I don't think will be the case. Otherwise, we can set them on patrol to try and engage the enemy navy. Yeah, this will take a little bit, so I think it's time to declare war on Japan. Let's do it, and let's see what happens with the navy. Yeah, definitely we don't get the supremacy right away, but that's because these guys are not doing what they should do. Yeah, we still don't get it. 30% is not great. We could set them on patrol and maybe on always engage. If we can intercept their navy, fight them just a couple of times, it's going to be great. Meanwhile, we can get all of our divisions trained here, which is nice. Okay, we already got the supremacy in here. We don't have it in here. Let's see if there is a chance, because we did fight them. Yeah, we still don't have it here, but it's very, very close. Let's make sure that this triggers the moment we get the supremacy, and we got the supremacy. Look at that. Actually not bad. Easier than I expected. And by the way, now that we are at war with Japan, it is very important that we get rid of these maluses. So let's use both these decisions. Now we do want to import some oil. We don't want to run completely out of it. We may get intercepted a little bit here. Yeah, we did. It's a needed sacrifice. Now, once you reach the coast of Japan and disembark, they go down very easily. So this should not be a big deal. Just a little bit of micro in here. Of course, most of their divisions are in China, which is why this is very easy. Okay, everything going very smoothly. Oh, they are counter-invading me. That's crazy. Yeah, look at them. Very cool stuff. Okay, we can finally assign a regular front line. This part of Japan is always annoying because it's so many islands, you need many front lines, but now we can just go for one. I think we can maybe stop. Ooh, the navy got completely destroyed. Look at that. That's a bit sad. It's a good thing we didn't need it anymore. It did its job. And good job, Japan. They have a good navy. I would recommend making a save before Japan goes down, because the peace conference is an important one. We don't want to mess it up. Now with Tokyo, Japan may go down, so yeah, let's make a save now. That's it. Okay, we actually got 21% of the score, which is pretty good. But our absolute priority in this case is that China takes back all of their cores. Then we can puppet Japan if we want to, which is also a lot cheaper than annexing them in this case. I would say we prioritize puppeting Japan and taking their navy, and then hopefully China will take the land that they need. I don't really want to contest China, so if there is something that they take by themselves, I will let them take it. Okay, let's make sure that Japan is completely gone and that everything is going to China. Why don't you take this stuff here, for example? That's a bit annoying. It's a bit annoying because this stuff is a core of China, so we absolutely need China to take it. So we need to give it to them manually. Okay, then why did you... What the fuck? They contested me giving them stuff and then they didn't take it. Whatever, boys, whatever. I think we need at least a bit of the of the Japanese Navy. Actually don't have enough points to take all of it. It's not great, honestly, but okay. It's fine. We should have a navy that is large enough. Wait, that's a bit more than I think I took in the peace conference, isn't it? I don't know what's happening with the navy, but it's fine. It's a classic of this game, not understanding what's going on with the navy. That's perfectly normal. The important thing is we got part of Japan, which we're going to use to invade China, and China, unless I missed something, hopefully I didn't miss anything, took everything. Any China, by the way, Communist China is also fine, because they will all be in the same faction. Took every single core of China. So it's very important that when we declare war on China, they have all of their cores. Now, there is something pretty dumb, and that's we control these 2 cores of China. We actually do not control this one. They have the same color, but this is our puppet. It's a Puerto Brazilian China. Now we need, for the achievement, all of the cores of China to be controlled by this puppet. The problem is, if you go to return territory, you can do it to Communist China, you can do it to China, but there is no option to give this land, these 2 cores, to our puppet. And mind that that will be the same once you defeat China. So in the peace conference against China, if you annex everything, then you will not be able to give the stuff back to your puppet. So it's very important that everything is already part of China when we declare war on them. And then we call our puppet just before ending the war, so that we can give everything to the puppet directly in the peace conference. In short, what this means is we are going to return these 2 territories to China. We're also not going to call our puppet right away, so this part is not going to be used for our invasion. Instead, what we're going to use for the invasion is this port here, and invading the coast of China. Now, China has a lot of divisions, but they do suffer from naval invasions. It's great that these guys are also trained. Now we're going to send everybody over to Japan. We're going to use eventually all of these divisions. So let's send these guys over. And with the guys we used to invade Japan, we're going to plan a naval invasion of China. We can again go with groups of 4. And the first area I usually invade is the area of Shanghai. Okay, this is good enough. Now, of course, we also need to justify a war goal on China. Second spy, and what this means is we can go for our collaboration government in China. Now, as we complete this focus, we can start integrating Angola and Mozambique. This takes forever. It's definitely not worth it, but we're going to do it anyway. It's extra cores eventually, so I guess that's fine. Yeah, I will allow them to repair. The thing is, China doesn't really have a fleet, but they can still be a little bit annoying. So we're going to use destroyers, split them into very small groups, and set them on convoy escort, because we actually do need to send supplies all the way over from Portugal. So this stuff is actually needed. The rest of the fleet we can use for naval invasion. We can split off the submarines, set them on convoy raiding. Oh yes, integrating Britain. I'll take it. Meanwhile, the Axis is doing their stuff, but we don't care. Just a few more days, we'll get our claim and we can start invading China. There we go. So let's go after China. And once again, to keep war support under control, I will definitely use encourage frugality. We even have an improved worker conditions, which is a little bit tempting. Don't think we need it, but yeah, I'll take it. And so if we have any planes, not much, but whatever we have, the Chinese also don't have planes, so this may even be enough. And the first naval invasion is going smoothly. Now, China is not very difficult, but if you don't use this tactic, if you try to go, for example, from here, you may struggle a little bit, because they do have a lot of divisions. Okay, the first naval invasion is done, so we're going to immediately trigger another one with another army. Same thing, but this time we go for this area. Got a nice encirclement here. Now we can assign a normal front line and we can already take down their capital. Now, all we need to be really careful about here in China is supplies and supply hubs. So we need to always plan our offensives with supply hubs in mind. Pushing the coastline of China is great because you will always have access to supplies. Pushing inland, it's going to be much more difficult. Especially in here, you can see there are absolutely no supply hubs. And the only way to get to this one is either from the bottom, then connecting them, or from the top. So for now, we're going to focus on the coastline. Another important thing to mention is that we only need to capitulate China, despite all of these puppets being in the war. And that means we don't need to care about taking all of the stuff here, but only taking the important victory points in China, focusing on this central area. Of course, Germany goes for Barbarossa, and that's something else we don't care about. Although that's gonna be great if we later on want to take down either Germany or the Soviet Union. Now soon we will start to struggle holding such a large front. Also my game is struggling to survive. So to fix that, we're going to send all of these divisions just covering the entire front. Meanwhile, we're having another very successful naval invasion in here. See, naval invasions are definitely the weak spot for China. They can never defend them well. Now we can plan an offensive from here as well. The goal is to get to Beijing. Let's also check supply hubs. So something like these would work. It would be great if supply hubs were a bit easier to see on the map. Like you can see there is one in here. You can kind of see there is one in here. It's not very easy to see them. As in here, I think it's better to stop this offensive. It's running out of steam and supplies. We can already plan the next one though. And we can plan another naval invasion with the other 24 offensive divisions we have in here. Now this time I think this may be a good target, so we can go from Okinawa actually. In here I would be very happy to push this area, maybe get an encirclement down there. Very nice. Okay, we got the first collaboration government in China. I'm not entirely sure we will be able to get another one, but just in case, let's spy on them. So now this front is entirely covered by our puppet divisions. We can focus on joining the two fronts in here. Crossing this river may prove to be difficult, but if they don't defend it, that's awesome. Meanwhile, we have another naval invasion to trigger. Let's go for it. So here we go straight for Beijing, and then maybe we'll try to get this harbor too, just for supplies. The rest of the area is completely useless to us, so we're not going to push it. Now, the divisions we are using are not ideal for China because the supply use is a bit high. That's one of the problems with having a lot of artillery in your template. It's okay, they can push, and if we manage the supplies well, they will be fine. They also get some bad modifiers in bad terrains, which is not ideal. So what would be ideal instead is mountaineers only. We recently unlocked the mountaineers technology, but not enough yet to make a mountaineers army. Also, it would take too long, so we just stick to this solid template. And we took back Hong Kong, rightfully ours. And by the way, this particular part of the run should not become harder with the new DLC. Taking down China shouldn't be more difficult. Although getting the naval supremacy against Japan, but more importantly earlier against the UK, that's the difficult part. So I mentioned it in this video too, in every single video. Okay, let's try to get the hubs now. And also we can now use this giant army on the entire front. Let's check the hubs in here. Yeah, we're starting to run out of hubs. This is the next target from this area. Let's see if we can get it. And I would say we push to capitulate this puppet of China, so we can then push from this area more freely. And in here, that's the hardest part in terms of supplies. We're completely out of supplies. So maybe it would be a better idea to... I mean, we are very close to Wuhan, but we cannot connect it anyway. So we're going to change this a little bit and push from here instead. Now we can change this offensive to this area here. We can push in here. At 100 political power, we're going to pick the ground support expert because, as you probably noticed from the researchers, we are finally getting an air force. Okay, let's trigger this offensive and this offensive as well. So we push on the entire front. Any chance to get Wuhan? Probably not yet. Yeah, now this is the part where the lack of supplies is starting to hurt. And we absolutely need Wuhan. Nice. That will help a lot with supplies in the area. Now, we need to keep an eye here because we absolutely don't want to capitulate China before calling our puppet. You know what? Just to be safe, I'm going to call the puppet now. There is no real reason not to do that. I just need to find it. So the one we need is Porto Brazilian China. Let's call it into the war. Yeah, nobody is here. It's the only place where you need to go. Why is nobody here? Oh, awesome. So my puppet just called into the war is already causing a mess. That's great. Just want to focus the harbor here. And also if we can connect with France, that's going to be perfect. Yeah, in here we are definitely struggling a lot. But this harbor is going to help. But we're not far. We're not far. And yeah, technically, I'm a bit late. We could start now the second collaboration government. There is actually absolutely no hope that this is done before we cap them, which is completely irrelevant because we're going to give everything to our collaboration government in any case. But just in case you get slowed down more or you struggle, the second collab is going to speed up things. Okay, we capitulated this China. That's nice. And that was the last airplanes technology we needed, so we can now start making our new planes. Usual stuff, F2 and C2. We're going to put 30 factories on the C2 and 60 on the F2, taken all from infantry equip. And boys, everything is looking good here. Just need a couple more victory points and I think China will be down. 15, okay, one more victory point and we're done. Very smooth actually, very smooth. I think we're getting this one, so that should be it. There we go, boys, 100% of the score, so actually this is not very easy to mess up. All we need to do is to make sure that these guys were in the war, and so we select them in the peace conference and we give them all of the cores. Now, in this case, I don't want to be trouble, I don't want to make mistakes, so I will just give them everything, including this part of Japan. I mean, who cares? And so boys, we did it. This giant Porto-Brazilian China is what you need to get the Macau My achievement. But that's not all. I mean, look at how awesome we are at the moment. We have Porto-Brazilian Japan, Porto-Brazilian China. We still control most of Europe, though we cannot really see which part because there is also Germany in it. But the best part is that it's only the 14th of August 1941. You have an entire run ahead of you and you have the perfect setup right now to mess up either the Soviet Union or Germany. I would probably go for Germany, because they are fighting each other. You can invade the United States. I mean, you can literally do anything you want. Go for a full world conquest as Portugal. Well, this is the setup for it. Overall, I really like this run as a non-aligned Portugal. I found it to be very enjoyable. Both the first part, which you can find in the dedicated video, and this follow-up Macau My Day guide. By the way, if you like this format with a main country guide and then some add-on, maybe achievement-oriented dedicated guides, let me know in the comments. This is something I can do, and it is a bit less resource-intensive on my part than making an entirely new country guide. This was an enjoyable strategy, a fairly smooth invasion of China, which can always be tricky, but going from Japan makes it a lot easier. Let me know how it goes in your run, let me know if you can get the Macau My Day achievement with this strategy, and if you have any questions, as always, feel free to ask. And guys, if you enjoy my content, make sure to support the channel by liking the video, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Other than that, thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys very soon in the next video. Bye bye!